And I'm here today to have a press conference and announce the filing of our resolution, Senate Resolution 795. 795 is the Health Care Protection Act, and what this constitutional amendment, this is a constitutional amendment, essentially provides the right and preserves the right of choice that individuals have in Georgia to make choice about whether or not they have health care, what level of health care they choose, and that they individually have a right to participate in plans as they want to. It's long, our American history is replete with the fact that our Constitution was founded on the principle of individuals having the right to make choices. That was fundamental to the American way, and the idea of what is going on in Washington I find to be almost beyond compare. There's nothing really that I have seen with the idea of imposing plans of insurance on people, imposing plans that mandate coverage, and with criminal penalties and fines attaching to people who do not have coverage. So my response, and I'm glad to say that some 30 members of the Senate have co-signed on this resolution, is to effectually step forward and go forward with the process of saying that if the people support this, then they can pass it. It is a constitutional amendment. It will require passage of both houses, and then it goes to the people on the ballot. But I would be happy to answer any questions, and I think if not, we have copies of the resolution if we'd like to have copies of it.
Does this allow people to opt out of the federal plan without penalty?
Yes, sir. That is exactly what this does.
How?
Opt out. If you can choose to opt out, and if you opt out, you are entitled to choose what you wish in terms of coverage. You may become a self-insurer. You may pursue private coverage. But the idea of a federal mandate I think, is repugnant to the American people.
Now, some Democrats say, though, that it wouldn't pass constitutional muster, that it's similar to desegregation in the 50s and 60s, while some states did want to, they were forced to under federal mandates.
Well, under the federal mandates, they use the Commerce Clause. And those of you who are following the United States Supreme Court, in recent years, the Supreme Court of the United States has backed away from the Commerce Clause. And as they have progressed in the process of developing the Constitution, they're getting away from it. And consequently, I've never known the use of other than the Commerce Clause as a means of expanding the power of the federal government. As you know very well, what our Constitution does, it has enunciated powers that are reserved to, first of all, the federal government. It's a very narrow court. An example might be bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is something that has always been considered a federal thing. The federal judiciary has done that. But then when you get away from that, the Commerce Clause Roosevelt used in the Great Depression to push forward all of the various phases of bills that he had, and has done that. Again, the Supreme Court today is backing away from that, and we have seen evidence of that. It's not our desire to trigger litigation, but by the same token, all right, we have an Attorney General. If this passes, then our Attorney General will have a mandate to go forward with that process. I mean, the whole process in Washington, I see, is tainted. From Senator Ben Nelson's bribe to Senator Landau's bribe for votes. I don't have, in my lifetime, I don't remember anyone doing so blatant an action of bribery for votes to make this process happen. So, yes, that's why we're doing this. Are we doing it to promote litigation? No. We're protecting the right of choice of the people of Georgia. People can say, I don't want to do that.
And is the same resolution also being passed around other states as well?
Yes, I think it is. I'm quite certain it is. It's been similar in but exactly in content and intent.
Was it drafted by the insurance companies?
No. Was it drafted by the insurance companies? Absolutely not.
Who drafted it?
I did, with help of legislative counsel.
But the same idea that's also going around other states as well. Is there any one party that's behind the effort?
I don't think there's any one party at all behind the effort. I think it's the American people. As the process of Obamacare has gone through, if you'll recall, they first of all wanted to pass it in August. That deadline came and passed. The members of Congress and the Senate came home and they got an earful from their constituents and they went back in. Finally, they passed the thing by the process that went on right before Christmas. That meaning the Senate has passed their bill, the House had passed their bill in October. Now they're in reconciliation. It's unprecedented to have reconciliation in private. That's also crazy. So what they're doing is they're doing more dealing to try to get votes in this process. I mean, the idea of openness in government, they flaunt the fact that they're not practicing openness in government.
What do you,
Yes, ma'am.
so do you think you'll have trouble, though, with it being a constitutional amendment getting the two-thirds majority if the majority of the Democrats won't go along with it?
You know, I've been in the Senate for 10 years, and in the process of being here in the Senate, what you have to do is you have to look forward to what you're doing in legislation. You offer legislation. This gives the people of Georgia choice. And I would say to my friends on the Democratic side of the aisle, please join me. If you are truly believers in choice, you would want to give the people of Georgia an opportunity to vote on this thing. And the other side of the coin is if you don't, rue you for denying the people the opportunity to have choice. This is simply to say to all of the General Assembly, this is your opportunity to look at something like this, pass it. Let's put it out to the people of Georgia. Let the people of Georgia have the opportunity to make that sort of statement.
So if we currently do have choice now, and I think 1.6 million Georgians don't have insurance.
That's
do you
correct.
think this legislation will lead to more people getting insurance?
Hopefully it will. It won't hurt the process, but I mean, you afford people the opportunity. If Congress passes plans and people want to participate, that's their option. They certainly have the right to do that. But the process of forcing people into the process is what I find to be repugnant.
So is this more to send a message? Because given that this is likely to end up in court, is this to stir up sort of debate?
This
Is this to send a message more than to truly affect health insurance?
This is not Seth Harp sending a message. This is giving the people of Georgia an opportunity to send a message. And by doing this as a constitutional amendment, we take it to the people and let the people speak. They'll do it in the ballot box. If we pass it here, it will be on the ballot in November, and we will allow the folks of Georgia to have that opportunity.